Hello, I am Dylan James.
And I'm Rudy Meadows.
And you are listening to TorqueTalks.
Okay, so this is actually my first time in the studio. Dylan's been in the studio quite a few times. And what is TorqueTalks?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So TorqueTalks is going to be a place for us to just sort of banter and get some interviews with some athletes, talk about a range of topics from things like conditioning, things that, we do or athletes that we know do for tricking related trainings, as well as individual athlete interviews, team interviews, just sort of a full range of things.
So do you have a topic for today?
I actually don't. I figured we could just start it off with talking about who we are, who Torque is, what Torque is, why Torque is, and just sort of take it from there.
Sounds good. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Why don't you start?
Okay. My name is Rudy Meadows. Like I said earlier, I am 26, almost 27 years old.
Getting old.
I am getting old. I'm getting quite up there. I have been tricking for a little over 10 years. I don't know. Coaching and I don't know. What else is there to share?
Well, you started Torque. We co-founded Torque. There's that.
That is definitely.
I tell everybody that.
I mean, fair enough. A lot of my students are always asking what my wristbands are. So it's my apparel company, and I have to explain that. And 90% of them don't know how to read the word torque. I've learned Torque, Torque, Torquois. Torque, there's 1,000 different versions I've heard.
It is kind of strange looking.
It is a very strange looking word.
Like, I've always thought that. I'm not sure why we picked it. Before we get into that,
who are you? Yes.
I am Dylan James. I co-founded Torque with Rudy many years ago. I'm currently 24 years old. I actually just had my birthday last week. I actually feel 24, which is interesting. Like, I never felt like 22. I never felt 23. I always felt 21.
You never understood Taylor Swift?
No, not even that. But I always felt like I was 21. Like, I was 23 and someone asked me how old I was, and I started to tell them I was 21, and I realized that was years ago. And
you're gonna be that old guy that has his 40th birthday 5 times.
Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. But I feel 24, not in a bad way, just in like, oh, I'm about this.
You've accepted it.
Yeah. But anyways, so I do a range of things, running Torque, doing some designs for that. I also do some graphic design on the side, and I have a mobile auto repair business that feeds my income so I can do the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But so let's get back to talking about Torque, and specifically
what this is about, or why
the origin of Torque, specifically the name. Like, why? Because I almost forget, honestly, why because you chose it.
Yeah. So Torque originally came about from when I was in college. It's another thing about me. I went to college at Longwood University and studied graphic design. My senior project, we had to create a thing to solve a problem, and I chose to create an apparel company inside the sport of tricking to help grow the knowledge and like publicity of tricking, because it was kind of still is. It's like not very well known. People will ask you if you do parkour before they ask you if you do tricking. So I had to create something to solve a problem, and I had to give it a name, because you can't have this nameless entity. It just doesn't work that way. And
I mean, you can. Prince did it for a while. He went as the artist formerly known as I'm just saying it's possible.
But that's a name though, right? Like,
I mean, yeah, he was a symbol, but you can't really pronounce the symbol because the symbol didn't itself have a name, I think. There was some layers to it. It was very meta. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's possible. Anyway.
No, this is true. But I decided to go with a name that could be like, not derivative of tricking or something very involved in tricking.
Relevant?
That is an excellent word. Something relevant to tricking. And I chose Torque because I've yet to find one that doesn't. Every trick has some sort of force in it directly related to the physics term torque. And I thought that it was a fitting name, and it kind of stuck from there. And then here we are. Many years later, here we are. Lots of other things happen.
Yeah, there's a lot that has happened. So as we are recording this, we've been, what is this, 6 years now?
Yeah, this is the 6th year.
This is the 6th year. Yeah, so it was, May of 2011?
I think that's when we
that was the night. The night. You guys, night in question.
For those of you listening, I suppose that if you hear this, you're listening. That's what happens. You know the scene in Step Brothers where they're arguing and then they're like, on the count of 3, name your favorite dinosaur. Velociraptor. And then you want to go do karate in the garage? Yeah. Did we just become best friends? Yeah. That's how Dylan and I ended up with the company, basically. Sat down, talked for a few hours. Woke up the next morning, separate places. Woke up the next morning, and I texted and was like, "Do we have a company? Is that what happened?" And then overnight,
it was literally the first time that we hung out outside of a gym session. So
we had class together in high school.
Yeah, to really set the scene. So if you go back, I was a freshman in high school. What year was it? 2007? You were a senior.
2008.
2008. So in 2008. Actually, it was 7/8 because the way school's fucked up.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So anyways, so we're in that year and we have this class with this teacher, Miss D, and she is still to this day one of my favorite teachers.
Oh, absolutely.
She really honestly set me on the path that led me to, doing things like this and just like following that passion. Because the whole time I was in school, I remember she would just leave for weeks at a time because she was out doing art commission shoots for photography and, painting things and just constantly doing something. And she was just the happiest person.
She's the kind of art teacher that you always want to have.
Yeah, so
not the one that's like art teacher because they couldn't find an art teacher and they hate it, and they're actually like a math teacher, but they just didn't understudy for a semester. She lived it every day.
Yeah, it was truly inspiring to be around her. But anyways, so Rudy was actually in the second year of the class that we went into, and it was called computer graphics. And I was actually really pissed that I got put in that class freshman year. I'm not even gonna lie, because we had to set our electives, right? And so I went through and I wanted to learn 3D animation. I thought that shit was gonna be so cool.
And computer graphics, 3D animation.
Well, computer graphics was 4th on my list because it was a different class. 3D animation was a specific other class. Well, for some reason, they canceled that class.
It's probably because you were the only one to sign up for it.
I cannot believe that is true. I can't, because there were other kids that were way more talented than me when it came to things like that. And they had to have been trying to. Anyways, I was super mad. And for the first maybe week, I was against the class almost. But then within the first week, I was like, yo, can I do this forever? And I honestly haven't looked back. I love graphic design, and I really attribute it to her. But so I was in the first year of that class. Rudy was taking his second year, and we just happened to be sitting next to each other. And I just always sort of was nosy and was paying more attention to what their class was doing, which was literally 2 students in that class. Right? It was just you and Matt.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
It literally just 2 of us.
Yeah. So
I think they didn't have like, I think there was another class, like another graphic design 2 or whatever it was.
it just didn't fit with your schedule or something.
Yeah. And they had too many kids in it. So Matt and I got bumped to your time, which was graphic design 1. And she's like, they're self-sufficient enough. I can just give them an assignment and let him go.
Yeah.
So,
which she honestly treated both classes relatively the same, except for they knew the basics that we had to learn still.
we just had more advanced projects.
Yeah. But I remember like seeing some of his videos, because how long had you been tricking at that point? Like
2 years.
2 years? Yeah. And I actually I met him once before we actually started like hanging out, and it was like for like 5 seconds when I was in the 8th grade after, who was it? Robbie Brownlow. And it was Alex Patterson's like, we're going to high school party type thing. And there was a ton of people there, and there's a trampoline, and I learned how to backflip, and he did a cork on the ground, and I was like, that shit's cool. And I didn't learn for another year that it was called tricking.
I think that was back when I didn't know how to J-step or Euro step, and all I knew was how to spin step cork.
I don't remember. No, maybe.
It sounds about right.
It was when you were doing a lot of things off of things. Lots of flips off of
most
things.
definitely didn't know how to J-step cork.
Early, like the Duo sampler and like Welcome Home.
Oh, God, yeah.
That
was the Dave C sampler.
I still love that one.
Oh, my God.
It's a good one.
Old times.
So old.
Things that should have been swept under a rug a long time ago.
Right? So anyways, I learned about that, and then I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna do this, and went outside for like, it was like 2 or 3 days. I tried, and I like threw myself around the yard, and I was like, I look like an idiot. I feel like an idiot.
That's how it starts, though. You just start as this like ragdoll with bones.
Tutorials are not doing it for me. I'm gonna move on with my life. And so that was freshman year, and I forgot about it completely. I got a girlfriend, did that whole thing through most of my high school, and it wasn't until a few years later that our other friend Hunter, he was just like super mad about something. Was like, I'm gonna learn how to backflip. We're gonna do it, and
I'm angry. I'm gonna backflip.
Yeah.
How did you get to that conclusion? I don't know.
Yeah, it was just the order of operations that he was working with. But so I remember he calls me up.
His order of operations was always questionable.
Yeah, but I mean, he got the answer.
Yeah. Always questionable though. Like, how do you start a car? Well, I don't know. We're going to need 6 balloons, an orange, and
there was
maybe some car keys. But don't get the right ones. Okay. And then for some reason the car starts, and you're like, the keys were in the ignition the whole time. You're like,
well, there was actually one time in high school, it may have been before we started tricking, that I actually, to turn my car on at the time, there was a hammer involved, and someone actually had to crawl under the car and hit this. It was the starter. You had to hit the starter with a ball peen hammer as you were cranking it for it to fully turn. But once it did that, it was fine. It would like run no problem. We got it fixed eventually. It was just
6 balloons, an orange.
For a while, that was the best way to do it. But anyways, so Hunter calls me up, and he was like, hey, we're gonna do some stuff, and it's gonna be dumb, and you should come over. And I was like, oh, okay. So I go to his house, and we walk up the block to his friend's house. His friend's not home. We walk through. I'm not sure if we went through the house or just like straight into the backyard, but we ended up in the backyard, and he just like starts rummaging through this shed of our other friend, and he pulls out this trampoline. And when I say trampoline, I do not mean a full-size adult trampoline.
One of those jazzercise.
Exactly. Like
anaerobic, acrobatic.
To 2.5 inch ground clearance maximum. Like, if you set too many blades of grass, it will touch the ground. that kind of trampoline. Couldn't have cost more than $40 anywhere. So anyways, we get this and we roll it all the way back down the hill to his house, into his backyard.
Must have been a heavy little trampoline.
No, it was like almost one roll.
Oh.
Yeah. No,
see if you can catch it.
He was running beside it to make sure it didn't hit the cars, but like he never really like kept pushing it. It was more just like, don't fall over and keep guiding as it, you know what I mean?
I wonder if this is where, if the stick and hoop game that gets drawn into old paintings and pictures of kids running with a hoop, hitting it with a stick. Do you not know what I'm talking about?
No, but I'm picturing game. Hunter doing it.
Yeah, right. I wonder if someone eventually took like a really thin section of leather and wrapped it around it. It was like, look, a bouncy hoop, and then trampolines. Or the origin story of trampolines.
It could be. No, we should look into that. Do an episode on it. It'd be interesting. The origin of thing. We could do the origin of springs. Would be relevant to spring floors. Just the origin of all things that are related to tricking. It's just a thought.
It just turns.
I never said it was a good one.
It just turns into how it's made.
Right.
Next up on how it's made.
So anyways, we get this trampoline into his backyard, and he then proceeds to go in and take a futon off of the futon. How would you say that? The futon mattress?
A cushion?
Well, they're both futon. The futon, it's like the futon contraption, and then there's the futon that goes on. I don't know how to separate.
So there's the futon, and then there's the foot on.
Maybe, I'm not sure how it breaks down, something like that. Anyways, he takes a giant pillow off the futon and. See, that doesn't frame it properly. People are confused.
I don't think they're confused. I think you're trying too hard.
Anyways, so futon in the backyard, drags it down the hill, grass, mud, everything. This is an indoor futon.
Hunter is the kind of person that he's kind of like a crow, but kind of like a raccoon. Animals that steal things and hoard them, because if it moves, it's his. Like, if you can physically move it by yourself, you don't need an additional help from an apparatus.
No, I think you're thinking of Marsha. Marsha likes to touch shit.
Well, Marsha does like to touch shit, but Hunter, if it involves getting something that he wants, if he can move it, it's fair game.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, you framed it as something he wants. That's completely different than just like thinking like, oh, it moves, it's mine. Well, if it's in my way, in the like, I'm trying to get here.
But some things in my brain are off limits. Like a nice futon should not end up outside in the grass and the mud.
You forget. He trained from like 16 on as a firefighter, and they used to be like, Mood, use your head. And he would use his head to go through the wall to get to the other room because there was fire and that was where he needed to be, and there was an obstruction elsewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you frame it properly, it makes more sense. So anyways, so he gets this futon and just like starts jumping off the trampoline, trying to do a backflip onto the futon, and like in my head, I'm like, he's gonna die. He's gonna die here, and I'm gonna be watching it. And then light bulb. And I remembered years earlier, because this was when I was like junior in high school. And then I remembered those times freshman year when I was watching Rudy's video of tricking, and I was like, that's cool shit. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's a thing. I bet he's still alive. And
he said confidently.
Well, I actually knew. Well, actually, I didn't know, because at that point, weren't you on and off spleen injury, or was that after?
That was much later.
That was later?
Yeah.
That was when you disappeared?
Wait, depends on what year.
When did you spleen injury?
2010.
Yeah, that was before. Yeah, so I actually wasn't sure that he was alive at that point. That was, I think it was when you were...
questionably.
He said questionably. Well, anyways, so I hit Rudy up and we went to a gym session, and I saw him like very occasionally. And I think it was because you were coming off of the spleen injury, or you had the spleen injury while you were at school or something after we tricked together once or twice.
I think that's what it was.
And then,
you guys started tricking, and then I exploded on the inside, and then I was dead to the world for 8 months.
Yeah, but he still did tricks, I remember.
Very, very carefully.
They were very carefully.
Very calculated. Only like 2 cork swings or 3 cork swings, and if I thought there were any potential to fall, it was off the list. It was very like, this has to be very smooth, this has to be very calculated, and no ifs, ands, or buts. I might die.
So anyways, fast forward over a year where Hunter and I were tricking and learning some things. And I think we went to our first gathering. Well, it depends on what you count our first gathering. I kind of half count the RTG when everyone came through, but it was also like epic of 2000. I think it was. I
didn't go to 2010. I was dying.
Then it was 2010. Yeah, it was the snow.
Winter.
Was it summer 2010?
I went to summer 2010. I didn't go to winter.
I didn't go to winter either. So then I went to summer epic, or did I go to winter epic? I don't even remember anymore. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. So we didn't really trick with him all that much, and didn't really hang out with him all that much. And then one night, it was the first night that we hung out, and he was telling me about this project that he had to do for school. And we'd known each other for several years at this point because of high school and all of those. But this was the first time we actually hung out outside of any of those, like, no, there's a lot of reasons for both of us to be here, even if the other person wasn't. Yeah. So on that first, like, hey, so I'm Dylan, you're Rudy, let's get to know each other. It very rapidly progressed into no. So tell me more about this idea. So tell me, so that you got to do stuff with the company and a thing with tricking, and then I was telling him about my plans to start a graphic design firm and eventually progress that and grow it into something else. And it just sort of started to line up, and like, I'm starting to see overlaps. How do you feel about, like, if we worked on this together? Would that be a thing? Like, obviously not for your school project, but like, let's make this real type of thing.
Everything that we do together, I could use for my project. Obviously, I wasn't going to steal his designs if he put them together and did that. But like, all the progress we made within the company, I could throw back into my, so this is what our plans are, this is what this is how this is going, blah 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 blah, for the project. And it just kept snowballing and kept snowballing and kept snowballing.
Yeah, and like, we were so in it that I wasn't paying attention to my phone, and Rudy wasn't paying attention to his phone, and
we had several angry girlfriends.
It turns out people thought I was dead in a ditch somewhere. I was supposed to be at my girlfriend at the time's house, and
like 4 hours ago at this point in time.
Yeah, like at like 10, I had plans to be there, and I think we like looked at the phones and realized what time it was at like 2 a.m. the next morning. And I looked down and I had like tons of missed calls. Rudy had missed calls. There was like Facebook messages.
It's not even like we were hiding. We were literally sitting in my basement.
Not even. We were sitting in your upstairs.
Oh, were we?
Yeah, it was just like in the most obvious like center of the house, like not even like hidden. Plenty
if you're
of
not
people
paying
could
attention
access.
well enough, you could kick one of us as you walk by.
Yeah, but it was like my mom had gotten a call from my girlfriend at the time, and they ended up calling like our other friend Hunter, who was trying to figure out where I was, he didn't really give a shit. He was like, nah, he's alive. I know it. I would feel if he's dead type of thing. He's like, no, if he's dead, he would have called me before he died because we talked about this, you know?
Or after. Like at that point, the connection you guys had, it was like, hey, sorry to tell you this. I'm dead.
It's like,
wait, for real? No, yeah. Like I flipped my car 6 times. I'm currently in a ditch without a head.
It's like, all right, give me your coordinates. I'll be there in a minute. Motherfucker. But anyways, so that was actually a really fun night. I don't remember most of it, not because of like any substances or anything, just because it just happened so fast.
Like I said, I sent a text the next morning and I was like, do we have a company?
Yeah, like there's just
is
so
that
much
what happened last night, or can we have a recap? Like before we start the next episode, can I have a like last time on? I didn't know.
Right? Yeah. So it was interesting, but what was that? Like May 25th?
Fuck, I don't know.
I think it was like May. I'm pretty sure
it's written down somewhere.
I'm pretty sure we decided, we couldn't remember officially, so we decided that it was May 25th. It's on one of our shirts, so that's the date. Script.
Well, I know what shirt it is. Is that the full date? I thought that was just like Roman numerical year and stuff.
Yeah, of all of it.
Oh, okay. Dylan designed that shirt.
All of it. So, anyways, we actually mobilized pretty fast after that, because it was from there I went to... That was right. I graduated like a week or two later.
That was the summer of no sleep.
Oh yeah. That
was the summer of no sleep. I worked 3 jobs. Well, 2 including Torque, or 2 not including Torque. I was a lifeguard in the morning until like 3, and then I was waiting tables at Texas Steakhouse from 4-ish on to close. So like on a good night, 10. And then I went to Dylan's house by like 11, and then we worked until 4, and then I got up at 6 and went to work, and then I went to Texas Steakhouse, and then went to Dylan's, then went to work, and then Texas Steakhouse, and then Dylan's, and then pool.
It really was like that, and it was awesome.
I'm not sure how I did it. Like thinking back on it, I truly don't know how that happened.
Yeah, and it was post spleen too. It was.
But I'm not sure that like weighed in heavily to...
You were sick a lot more often because your immune system was bouncing back still, remember?
Yeah, they did give me the series of shots where if you don't have a spleen, they get the massive immuno booster for 5 years. But I don't know. That was a rough summer. Like it happened, it was fine, it was fun. It was rough.
Yeah, I remember so I graduated from high school, and then I went to a gathering I think that was that was summer 2011. So I did go to winter 2010.
Yeah.
That was my first one. That was when Hunter and I went, and we have the Twin A and Twin 2 shirts. And the point of that was we were hoping the whole time someone would be like, wait, where's Twin B? I know where Twin 2 is, but where's Twin 1? But I know where Twin A is, but where's... Fuck.
We lost them.
It's like that high school prank where you get like 3 pigs and you label them 1, 2, and 4.
Yep.
Like, okay, shit, there's another one. And then they spend the rest of the day looking for a pig that's not there. Anyways.
For those of you in high school looking for a senior prank, there you go. You're welcome.
If you pull that off, please let me know.
Bonus points if you have a GoPro attached to one of the pigs.
Oh yes, if you make a video of the whole thing, I will send you a shirt. just tag at TorqueTricking. I'm not even kidding. I will send a shirt.
We do not accept any.
Although I do not condone that type of activity. Disclaimer for disclaimer purposes.
Nor are we accepting any liabilities.
But yeah, so I went to that gathering and then came home, went to the beach, and then from the beach I was there for Beach Week, which is like our senior celebration where everyone goes down without their parents and just hangs out, and it's all wholesome fun and nothing dangerous or bad happens whatsoever. And so
he had to say, because he's certain someone is listening somewhere that will get him in trouble.
No, I honestly don't care.
At this point in time, it doesn't matter.
But anyways, it was a great lot of fun. It was a weird way to say it.
It was very much a lot of fun times that were had on that one weekend I spent down at... Shut up, Dylan.
Yeah. So anyways, we had a lot of fun for that. And then my family actually came down for another week at the beach, which was really fun for me. But the whole time that we were down there, I was on my computer like videoing with Rudy and Hunter, trying to put together this design and like finalize things. And we had like made a ton of progress on like lining up a printer and a few other things, but we had to like adjust our files and get things approved because
when you don't know what you're doing and you're trying to get a shirt printed, it's damn near impossible because no one understands each other.
Well, and on top of that, we wanted to do the hardest thing.
Oh, like, yeah. We didn't want to start with step A and go to B and then go to C. Like we didn't want to put the IKEA furniture together step by step. We wanted to literally start at the final step and go, okay, put all the screws in the holes and then we'll jam it together. But where do the pieces go? No, it'll work out.
I don't know if that's the best analogy. I would say something more like, so we had a box of crayons, right?
Say that one more time.
We had a box of crayons, right?
One more time.
Crayons.
Thanks. Wait, what, like cranberries?
Crayons.
Like cranberries?
How the fuck do you say it?
Crayons.
Crayons.
Yeah, not crayons.
Crayons. They're all the same. It's the same thing.
Crowns. Crowns.
No, that's a different thing. That's for kings and queens and princes and princesses and dukes and duchesses, and I'm running out of them.
Earls.
Squires.
Do squires get crowns?
I don't know. Probably not.
Oh. At this point in time, if you want to comment on this and let us know if squires get crowns, that'd be great.
So, yeah. Anyways, so you have a box of crayons, and your goal is to produce the Mona Lisa. It's just not going to come out the way that you think it is. You can like get the shapes right and the general gist, but it's just not fully encompassing what your mind was envisioning.
What if you melt the crayons and use them like oil paint?
It's not the same. I'm positive they do not use the same level of pigment in Crayola crayons as they do in like Rembrandt oil paint.
I'm sure there's a burnt umber in both of them.
Yeah, but they're not the same. I promise. I promise they're not.
Crayola has school bus yellow.
Crayola's got some A+ to the people who name those fucking colors. Because for whatever reason, it makes perfect sense to me when I pick up a crayon and they tell me this is tapioca. I'm like, you're goddamn right it is.
What color is tapioca?
It's very skin tone-ish.
Okay. I'll allow it.
Yeah, no, it's like they got some shit in there, man. I don't even know. I can't even think of the names right now. We're gonna get a box of crayons and just go through them one day because it's relevant. I'm not sure why, but it is.
We'll make a sub podcast, like a side episode.
Podcastception.
Yeah. Section 1. Reading Crayola crayon.
just like 30 minutes of that.
Yeah. Black, white.
So anyways, to paint an even more vivid picture, what we wanted to do is, if you're not familiar with our original logo, the Torque T.
Oh, good.
So it's, if you take our Torque head, which is ultimately a semi-open square, and you give it a body, right? So make a T and then drop 2 arms down
from the edges of the crossbar.
And then
a capital T, mind you.
Yes, capital T. And then it has 3 circles that are
not complete circles though.
They're
like
how would you put that on Z space? You have to like give them the
almost as if you were to draw a hula hoop around the T, except you don't close the back part where it wraps around the T.
Yeah, and there's 3 of them. So anyways, this was the original logo, and it was
meant to be 1 a T and 2 a play on a person twisting.
Yeah, a depiction of the motion was the rings around him for the twisting and the arms and whatnot. So anyways, what we wanted to do with this particular logo was put it on a t-shirt. And now when you say it like that, it sounds simple, but there was Dylan. More.
Tell me more. That sounds really easy. Put it right down the center.
Okay, so what we wanted was the arm of one of the guy's arms to be on your arm.
So it played off of it as if it were a continuation of the design and you were part of it.
Yeah, so the T comes up through the center and the head is like right in your chest area, like just below your trachea, and then the arm shoots out over and down the sleeve. And in our heads, we were like, oh, this will be so simple because they'll just like take the idea that we have and then just make it and then just print like that. Yeah, we didn't know anything about how shirts were actually made.
Fun fact, that's not how it works.
So the company that we did find that said, yeah, no, we'll do it.
If you fix it.
We had to completely redesign the logo and it like make a completely fucked version to make it work.
Because originally we had it as it sat naturally.
As it's supposed to be.
Yeah, on a shirt. And when they explained it to us, they were like, no, it'll work. It's just when somebody puts their arm down, it's going to create a second box around their armpit because that's how the design was going to be printed on the shirt. And we're like, well, fuck that, because that's not what we want. We're like, okay, well, you just have to make it extend onto the sleeve. So we had to make the T have one arm outstretched to the side, which wasn't at all what it was supposed to be, and then one arm down how it's supposed to be. Because when you put your arm down while wearing the shirt, it fixes it and completes the design. And like hindsight, thinking about it, that makes complete sense. In the moment, we were like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Okay, we'll fix it. Sure.
Yeah, we were actually like arguing with each other about it. We were like, what are they saying? I don't understand. And then we finally did it. and we like looked at a shirt template, and then our brains went, oh.
We made a mock-up of what they wanted us to do versus what we were trying to do, and it clicked, and we're like, oh, we're incredibly stupid.
Like on an actual shirt, we straight up took Sharpie on a white t-shirt, and we're like, no, this is how we want it to be done. Why the fuck do they want us to do it this other way? And we did it our way, and we went, oh. And then we did it their way, and we went, oh, I understand now.
So I see.
So we finally got that finalized while I was on my vacation, and like while my mom was yelling at me.
There were many times over FaceTime and Skype that I could see his mom over his shoulder yelling at him. It was kind of fun.
She just really wanted me to spend time with the family at that time. And I understand why, but I really wanted to do this. I really wanted to get started and like make Torque a reality, because it was absolutely nothing but an idea at that point and a few designs on paper, but that was it. And we really wanted to make it happen. So I was working my ass off even when I was in a different location. Which anyways, my parents were very supportive of me doing things for Torque, and especially, being supportive of me moving across the country to pursue that.
Both of our parents were incredibly supportive of that.
But in the beginning, there was definitely a little bit of confusion as to, what are you doing? You're trying to what when? But so anyways, we got it finalized, got the shirts, and they actually shipped out and made it how many days before? It was cutting it close, I remember, before we went up to Dreadnought 2011.
I don't know, like within a week.
Yeah, it was hella
had to
close.
be within a week.
So we took all of them up there, and
we didn't sleep that weekend at all.
I used all of the money that I had gotten for graduating.
Happy graduation. Thanks. I blew it all.
Yeah, I spent all of it. I think I spent less than $100 at the beach, which I was surprising because I was there for like a week and a half in total, something like that.
Yeah.
But I spent like all of the rest of it on making shirts. And I remember Hunter was going around telling people like, hey, you need to buy a shirt because he spent his college money on this, which was like not entirely untrue. It was just, I didn't care if that money went towards my college or if I had to pay back the government in enslavement loans for the rest of my life like everyone else. I just want to join the party in some way, I feel like. Like I was like, well, I'm not going to go to a real school, but I might as well take on real debt because fuck the government.
Oh my God.
No, it's not how my thought process happened when I was doing those things. It's just in hindsight how I think about it. But
you already are a crotchety old man.
No, I'm actually a really happy person. Just have bitternesses about certain things in our socioeconomic structure, but that's not for this podcast. That's for a different one. So
next week on Dylan Rants.
No, that's we actually talk about those things on the other podcasts that we do.
Oh.
Yeah, like legitimately, like
okay.
the problems in the world. That's actually a B&B Hero Inc. with Brian Taylor and Brandon Kelly. I have to get you on one of those. They're lots of fun.
Okay.
So anyways, we managed to sell all of those shirts that first weekend, which was awesome and was like a huge inspiration. And then we just hit the ground like running. Like as soon as we got back, I think we ordered like 5 colors of that shirt. We just said, yeah, all of them.
4, I think.
There's red. There's no black. There's blue. There was purple, and there was another one.
White.
We ordered more white, but there was another one.
There was that one.
No, there was several. There was a yellow one with black. There was several.
There was one.
There's two.
Oh, it wasn't.
I think my mom got one, and I think Hunter got another one.
Yeah.
And then there was, what else? I think that was it. And then we just started into new designs after that.
I think so.
But yeah, we went to,
I think we started.
I bought a car shortly after that gathering because my parents wouldn't let me take the car I had at the time outside of like 2 hours away.
Not because his parents are overprotective, but solely
not
because the car may or may not make it anywhere outside of a hour range.
I think 2 hours was their limit of driving to pick me up. I think that's what it really came down to.
You
it's
can go
like
2 hours,
but
if you go 2.5 hours, you have to walk half an hour.
Yeah, like I think there was
drive time. You have to walk half an hour drive time before we'll pick you up.
Oh, geez, that's a lot of.
That changes things.
That changes things a lot when you say it like that.
Talking like a 3-hour walk,
right?
And then a 2-hour drive with your parents who were pissed.
But yeah, I bought a car that could go places, little Honda Fit that was great on gas mileage, and holy freaking TARDIS. That thing.
What year was it? 2009?
Mine was a 7.
Was it a 7? And it was just the basic Honda Fit, right?
Yeah, it was just, it was even like the base model.
The most stock you can get.
I didn't even have a fin or cruise control.
Oh, you said a fin.
A fin.
I thought you said a fan. I was like, no. They come with that.
No, AC. Cool. AC was important. I definitely had that. And we upgraded the shit Texas. Out that stereo, man. That thing was bumping.
Yes.
Oh, I miss it.
What I was going to say is...
the speakers blew out.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah, every single one. But if you invest and you get a 2007, a stock, like all the basic model 2007 Honda Fit, and you scoot the passenger seat all the way forward, and you take the headrest off and lay the seat all the way flat, it will sit flush to the back seat and make a couch, which is perfect for
makes
road trips.
Couch bed.
Yeah, couch bed. It's perfect for road trips because the driver can drive, obviously, and the passenger can now fully recline and lay down and sleep almost as if they're in a bed. And
it's so comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I actually miss that car for that reason. I love my Subaru, but it doesn't do that. It
doesn't couch bed.
I thought about modifying it. I'm not going to lie.
You told me that. Move the
Yeah,
brackets.
I was going to take the bolts out and move them forward like a 1/4 of an inch because it's so close, man. It's like it wants to work, but then someone was like, 9, not doing it. They're not German.
I don't think the Germans make Subaru.
They're not, but that's who it was. A Nazi because they fucked everything up because Honda did it. They're in Japan. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, world, but I'm pretty sure Subaru is also Japanese. So they should have just kept with it. So it was some Nazi coming through fucking shit up, man.
Well, Honda did it, so I'm not going to copy that. Right? That's a dumb idea.
It was a great idea. But yeah,
what are we talking about?
We were talking about the car that I bought. And
yeah, but where did we get from there? How did we get there?
Oh, you were just explaining about couch bed and how just the perfections of that. We were reminiscing on how great that car was.
We took that car everywhere,
coast to coast. Like I think we counted at one point. It was at least 28 states or something like that it had been through. But yeah, we went on so many trips. I think the total number of gatherings that I personally hit within a 2-year period was 22. Within 2 years, from like, we're talking
now, and keep in mind, this is in like what 2000?
Yeah, May 2011.
So this is 2011 to 2013.
To like Loop Kicks 2013 is where I think I stopped. Actually, no, I think I stopped counting after New Heights, which was after that Loop Kicks. The first New Heights, the one we flew to, remember? We bought our tickets like a week and a half before, and by some miracle of Jesus, they were like $272.
Yeah, to fly into Palm Springs, which is a really expensive airport.
It was less than $300 each. It was ridiculous.
I did that at work one night. I walked into the gym I was coaching at and walked up to the front desk and was like, "Hey, can I buy tickets real quick?" I'm like, for what? I'm leaving in less than a week. I need to buy tickets. I suppose. Thanks. Can you move? And then we had tickets.
Yeah. And it was awesome. And and then we moved to Colorado, and it's just been an adventure. But there's a lot of stuff that happened in between, and we'll talk about more of that on another podcast. But I think that's a good long origin story to get these kicked off. We're going to go ahead and wrap this one up, but it was great talking to you guys, and look forward very soon for our podcast with Michael Guthrie and Alex Kerwood. And Rudy, do you have any closing thoughts?
I'm excited to do more of these. They're a lot of fun. And then, so we have Guthrie and Kerwood. Do we have plans for people in the future yet already?
No one's solidified yet, but we do have lots and lots of plans.
I'm stoked.
Okay, so if you guys want to help us out, go ahead and give this a share. Also, you can check out our website at torquetricking.com. We have our TorqueTricking apparel, as well as several other brands that we're affiliated with. If you go buy any of that, it's going to do us a huge favor in helping us to continue producing content and making more things for you guys.
If you have any suggestions for us for either topics in the future or, I guess, improvements, feel free to throw that in a comment, or you can message us, or like personally, or Torque's page. But yeah, let us know what you think.
All right, we will see you guys next week.
Bye.